Hey, I'm Kaz, a channel for the higher light.
And I'm Sally, your energetic guide and card reader.
This is the Quantum Thread.
A space to demystify energy, explore consciousness, and empower you to trust your inner truth. Well, welcome back, everyone, to episode 2 of the Quantum Thread. Welcome, Kaz. How's your week been?
It's been fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I'm loving these frequencies.
So good. This is the time of change. So, last week, as a recap, we just basically introduced what the quantum thread is all about. We introduced Kaz and myself, Sally, and we did a little channel, and we got to meet some of the golden group who are very wise and insightful and just so loving. The warmth and love that came through, Kaz, I think that was one of my big takeaways. It's just like wanting to give you a big hug.
And that's what it's about. It's about the energy that we share with each other and we can pass on. It creates ripples that will go for unknown distances.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. And as we said last week, it's just this is all about helping and supporting people as we're just going through, sometimes challenging times and just helping you transition from the old world to the new, just with more ease, grace, and flow. And I just think getting some help from the other side is very, or, from above is very powerful and empowering as well, because we're all about empowering people as we transition.
That's right. It's almost it is absolutely necessary in this day and age to be co-creating your life. And this week, what we wanted to talk about was what do you do when suddenly you're gifted with spiritual insights or spiritual experiences that you've never had before? Like we've all had those moments in our lives where something's just gone boom, and you're like, that was a bit woo-woo, like, and what is happening? And they're your gifts spontaneously igniting in your life. How do you use them? What do you do?
I just love that. So I would love you to share one of your moments and I'll share one of mine. It's very enlightening. Oh, I might as well just,
Okay.
yeah, go on.
The most powerful experience I had that stands alone in my life was an almost car accident that I had. And I suppose in this day and age, we've all heard the expression, Jesus takes the wheel, and it has happened to a lot of people. But with me, it was pouring down rain. I had my son in the car in the front seat, and I was on the side of a mountain, and I turned the corner to go down a steep S-bends in the rain. And as I turned that corner, I slipped on the road and the car slided, and I could see myself felt like inches away from running into the side of the cliff. It was horrific. And somehow I have no idea who took the wheel, who took over me. This is my very first channeling experience, as far as I'm concerned. Someone took control of me. I stepped back. I was watching the whole thing, but not doing anything. It was like um, I was out of myself. And we went down that hill and we did 360s all the way down, not to mention the cliff on this side and the cliff obviously going down on that side. And somehow we came to rest at the bottom of that hill, and the car slid down this tiny little section on the side of the road and come to rest on a fence post. The car was undamaged. I was undamaged. My son looked up. What happened? He had no idea it was even happening at the time. And there was this divine presence through me that I can now recognize as as a channeling experience. But at that time, I had no idea what was going on. And it took me almost years to even come to terms with the fact that that was a gift that I could repeat, you know, that is, not that I want to repeat on the side of a mountain, but it happens. It's real. Divine intervention is real. The unseen world is real, and you do have gifts. We hear these stories over and over again, and you, yes, you have the ability to do this.
Wow. That's such a powerful story. Man, I'm putting myself in there in your shoes and experiencing that. And it would have just been so surreal. And how did you recover from that? Like, how did you process it and how did you then start to let go?
That was the thing with this, with all the trauma I've been through in life. This was not a traumatic experience. I didn't have any of that after effects that, the fear comes on and
Mm,
all
mm,
of these other symptoms that come on for psychological processing. I didn't have any of that. So the channel who stepped into me at that time, who I believe was Archangel Michael, and he's been with me many times. I adore him. He has the ability to take care of all that. So that, in essence, didn't happen to me.
mm.
I was there, but I wasn't there. My son was there, but he wasn't there either because he didn't know any of it was happening until we got to the bottom of the hill. He's like, "What are we doing here? What happened?" The car was able to be driven home as soon as the guys put it back on all
No
fours.
way.
It was absolutely incredible.
That is,
That was spontaneous channeling in an emergency situation. So, yeah, I'm
wow.
still processing it.
Yeah. Was that a lot many years ago, obviously? So,
I was 30 then.
right.
Um, I'm in my mid 50s now. So,
So,
that was a very early channeling experience. I've had many like that afterwards until I actually learnt what it was and how to use it for an everyday tool in personal growth and assisting others.
Thank you so much for sharing that. That is so powerful. I mean, I've never had any experience like that. I've heard of lots of different experiences, like people on the operating table and then they've gone to the
Yeah.
light and have been met on the other side and then it's not time, come back now, but they've come back with messages or they've come back with a different mindset or, very, very powerful. I'm kind of oh, blown away by that story because the car, you drove it home. Like you drove it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man, I've never
But
had.
there's many stories like that. You hear of parents who can lift a car off an injured child. And I actually know someone who went mountain climbing and fell, and he had to lift a huge rock off himself. And he was given that divine strength in that moment to do that. So these things are happening all over the place, yet they're not getting the recognition
Hmm,
for what they are. They are the other side helping out us on this side, and they are there for any type of help
hmm.
that we wish to co-create with them.
It's. I've got a story that's it's powerful, but on a different level, and it's got to be maybe 30 years ago, and
Yeah.
I had a little puppy, little schnauzer, and it was my firstborn, so no kids, just had the dog, and for the first time was going to leave it, and it sort of had separation anxiety, so I had to go out to a wedding or something like that where I wasn't going to be home for the night, and so I'd asked my mum to look after the dog, and Max was only maybe 12 weeks. He was a little puppy, a little bit older than 12 weeks, but still, very much a pup. And I said to mum, make sure that he's looked after and, stay at home and it's only for the night and whatever. And mum's going, yeah, 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 it'll be fine. And anyway, unbeknownst to me, she had gone out that night and Max just got very anxious. And so he escaped through the house. Out of the door, he escaped somewhere. Mum lives by an incredibly busy highway, where she did at the time. And long story short, the next morning, she's rung me up and said, look, I'm really sorry, but Max has got out. I've gone, what? And she said, look, I got onto 3AW or something, which is like they have this nightline or this talkback radio thing, and she's rung up after midnight saying, I've searched the streets and I can't find this puppy and I'm looking after it for my daughter and it's like a child. And so local cabbies were driving the streets looking for the dog. Anyway, so the next day I was distraught, went into shock, but said, okay, went out and just went, door knocking and putting posters everywhere, but I did this thing of connecting in to just go to whoever above, please help me find Max. Please help me find Max. And so it was 4 or 5 days of searching, but I just had this strong, I don't know, conversation within myself to above, just saying, please, please, please help me find Max. And so about 4 or 5 days later, someone came knocking on the door and brought back Max, and they had said that they had got a flyer in the mail or whatever, and had said, oh, is this your dog? And we'd seen it go into a neighbour's place, and long story short, it was returned, and it had been stolen. Doesn't matter, but it was this strong, I don't know, connection and belief, and just asking for help and support. Like I was in my 20s. I hadn't really done much work about anything, but I just thought there has to be some sort of God help support out there to help me. And it was just like, and then I really started to follow that. And, years later, lots of different things have happened, but I use that strong sort of connection so to the other side to just like get support and help. So, I mean, that was just a very practical, relatable thing, nothing extreme like
Yeah.
our accident, but it's just going within and just having this, I don't know, this experience.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be a religious experience.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people will turn to God after something like that in a Christian sort of a way, but
Mm,
you don't have to. There's so many different sides to spirituality that
mm,
you can choose whatever is right for you, and
mm,
you don't need to judge yourself for being different to others. So you can have your God, you can have any one of your religions, or
mm,
you can simply have the essence of all that is.
mm,
It's up to you personally. There's no rule, no law. Your God is yours.
mm.
That's why there are so many to choose from in the world, because, it's a personal experience.
And so, how would you help people get in touch with their support crew, their guides, their angels, whoever your personalized mentor that you've got around you?
Okay. Well, why don't we go into channel and
Okay,
ask the
maybe why
guides
don't we ask
themselves?
exactly? So, as you get into your flow, I'll just sort of segue in there. So I think our topic has come up today, and Kaz is going to just take a moment to connect, just get grounded, settled, and get into the channel mode. So yeah, as you follow along each week, you'll get more used to the routine and how Kaz works and operates. But it looks as though we're going to be asking some more in-depth questions today of the golden group around, who have I got looking after me? How do I get in touch with them? How can they support it? I will just take a moment for when Kath is ready.
Welcome. Welcome, everybody, to this wonderful session. We love to be here to bring you the wisdoms that you require for these times. Please, what would you like to know?
Well, thank you so much for joining us again today. We just prior to going into channel, we were talking about how do people, get connected with their support crew, their team of light, their guides, their angels, their personalized mentors. When especially for people that are just learning about this and understanding that there is this team of light around us. Any sort of suggestions or insights that you can share with us about how we can connect deeper?
Yes, this is one of our most favorite topics of teaching, the subjects of spirituality, because it's one that really brings you back to yourself in every way. In keeping with the theme that we've been hearing you speak about, many of the people who are already listening to podcasts such as these have had some sort of experience, heart opening experience to the world of the unseen. And it is this heart opening which begins the process of having that connection to the fact that you are more than just your body, connecting to your guides. Primarily can be as easy as having the intention, having the right attitude, and asking for them to connect. Dear guides, please connect with me now. Please show me that you are real and that you are here with me and for me. As you learn to come back into yourself more and more, that connection grows. But not only does that connection grow, there is a whole path that you will travel, a path of self healing, self understanding, self love, and you will begin to experience the world not as the outside world and you looking in, but you will begin to understand that the road is actually an inner road, one of you looking inward and projecting. Is that understandable for you, or have we gone too in depth for this moment?
No, I think that's really, yeah, very powerful. So, yeah, the path we travel in life and having it more spiritually aligned, because, we're living in this complicated world, very earthly plane, but knowing that we have that spiritual, backup, if you like, and it's just staying, the more that I suppose we can tune in or know that we've got support, it's just so powerful. And I think you said having the intention and the attitude around it is very powerful. And I love how it's about opening the heart first. So the first step is opening up the heart to allow that connection. So yeah, it can be challenging for some people because it's a little bit out there, it's just like, just allowing ourselves to get out of our head, I think, is part of it. Any tips on how to do that, about how to stay connected, how to keep out of the head?
Keeping your thoughts under control is a learning process.
Mm,
Unfortunately, too many people do have closed hearts in these times, but this is what these times are about. And you all chose to be on the planet at this time to experience this depth of having your heart so closed that it cannot do anything else but open.
mm,
And this is why the world is the way it is, with all the traumas and all the changes and all the difficulties that the world is experiencing. It is the opening of the heart space of not only each individual, but the collective and even the planet and the universe itself.
mm,
The heart opening allows for all of those deep traumas that may have happened in this life or a past life or to a close friend, even to be channeled out, set free,
mm,
healed, released, so that your being can be free from all of that and be a clear channel for the divine. These are the times we're going through it, getting through it, happens on an internal level. So you are each releasing, processing, transmuting emotions. You are alchemizing yourselves to be able to better channel through all of the guides that are a part of your being, your collective, a part of you, who you have been throughout your entire journey as a soul and even into the future. and bringing your future selves into this moment to assist.
So beautiful. It's that freeing energy that's so attractive. So it's I 100% understand the whole process, but from a practical level, particularly for people that are just starting and sort of putting their big toe into this experience, have you got any suggestions of ways to, contain the thoughts, to open the heart, like in the morning in the shower, for example, or because we have such a busy life and it's trying to allow this connection, but also allow ourselves to navigate through what's going on at the moment. And a lot of people are struggling with the hardship and the struggle of trying to find that balance to stay connected, but also to process the traumas, go through everything that has been happening, and finding space within themselves to navigate both aspects. Does that make sense?
Let us use your analogy of the big toe. When one places their big toe into the water, place all of your being on experiencing that moment that the toe becomes wet. Keep your thoughts focused upon that toe as it slips deeper into the water,
Hmm.
as it becomes the entire foot, as it becomes the leg. Do not be tempted to pull your leg out of the water through fear. The water can feel cold, yet it is perfectly safe. Bring your thought back to the safety of the water and continue the journey. Rest if you will.
Hmm.
Rest, get used to the level of coolness over your foot before you proceed to put the rest of the leg in. And again, once you're up to the knee, allow yourself to rest. Get used to the feeling. Allow yourself to move the bottom of your leg and your foot all around in the water and experience the way the water ripples and moves all about you. If it ever becomes too much, rest. Do not give up. Rest. Rest in these energies is a great friend, and it's something that has been somewhat forgotten in the busy moments. But rest is highly important to who you are in all of your beings. Focus on the skin meeting the water.
Hmm.
Thank you.
That was so powerful. That was so empowering. Thank you so much for that analogy, because it's just doing simple, small steps. And the key takeaway there for me was just keep resting. Just keep resting as you're adapting yourself to this new way of being or way of feeling and way of sensing. And I love it, getting used to dipping your toe into the water and then getting used to the coldness or the chill or something that's different, and then resting and then just going in a little bit further to the ankle or up to the knee. That was just a beautiful description of how to start the process and continue on that journey, and help overcome the fear by getting used to the feeling. And don't rush. It doesn't have to be done tomorrow. It's just in divine timing, shall we say. That was so beautiful, so thank you so much for that.
You are most welcome, and we look forward to speaking with you again next week.
Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you, with so much gratitude. Oh, those Kaz is just coming back, allowing herself. I just found that so it's bringing tears into my eyes because just their delivery is so warm and so loving and so gentle. So thank you, Kaz. Just let us know when you're ready. Just coming back in, and that just made me really feel.
Okay, thank you. I hope that was
Oh yeah,
clear, and I trust it was. So,
it was just so beautiful because I was just basically we started the conversation about, especially for people that are maybe a little fearful or just having gone down the huge rabbit hole of opening the heart and connecting up and connecting in with the guides. How do we start doing it? And I basically had said, by when you dip your toe in the water and sort of giving it a go. And they said, well, let's play with that analogy. And Kaz, it was so beautiful and so powerful talking about, okay, just imagine you're dipping your toe in the water to start this heart opening connection and with your guide
mm.
beyond. And sorry, go on.
And water's a great analogy because it's much like the energy of spirit. Like a fish is swimming through the water and doesn't know that it is actually surrounded by water. It's just living its life. We too are surrounded by this spiritual energy that we are swimming through and just now learning how to pull it down slowly throughout our entire being and up at the same time. So you pull down, you pull up. So dipping your toe in is one way of doing it, but also pulling it down slowly, adjusting yourself along the way.
Wow, more goosebumps because this is exactly what the golden who was it today? I didn't even know, but it doesn't really.
Golden group. It's always the golden group.
Oh, yeah, fabulous. Because they were saying you put your big toe in, but allow it to be a whole being experience. So your focus is just on that moment. And yes, the water
Yes.
might be a bit cold and the fear might
Yeah.
come up, but it's just allow yourself to immerse yourself in that moment and then just let
Really.
go of the other stuff and just do it in small stages and then pull back and rest. The key thing was just keep resting. And then you might put your big toe in and go up to the ankle and then you just immerse yourself in that and then full body experience like you're saying, just it's getting into that
Allow yourself to feel.
yes, and rest.
Feeling is safe.
Oh, I
It
love
is
that
safe to feel.
feeling is.
Yeah. So would you like to do some cards on this energy?
Yes, I think I need just to shake off to reset. There we go. Absolutely. So, yeah, great way to finish off is using the Quantum Guidance Oracle card deck. There's 180. We're just going to pull a card in relation to what was coming up today. And the card today says, be grateful. There we go. One of the highest forms of universal manners is gratitude, having appreciation for the people, the things that you have in your life from the past, the present, and what you're choosing to bring into the future. Just overall gratitude. I like to say please and thank you is in the earthly realm, and gratitude is one of the manners of, the universal manners. So just have
Yes.
gratitude, but I think for yourself as well, just be grateful for everything that you have and where you are in your timeline and where you're at, because there's so much of this head stuff that gets in the way, which brings in the fear and the doubt, and just gratitude just shifts them with your energy like that.
Yep.
So yes,
That is so true.
any parting
And
comments?
Sally,
Sorry.
do you sell those cards that you created?
I do, yes, yeah. There's 180 of them, and yeah,
They are for purchase.
yes.
Wonderful.
So, and Kaz, thank you so much. Have you got any parting comments there for parting words or wisdom? Or I just
No, I'm a bit floaty and dreamy still from my channel, so I just love you all so much. And that is how I feel after every channel, and this is why I recommend it because it really brings back to life what really matters.
oh,
Thank
absolutely. So if you're interested in reaching out with Kaz for private channel, and she's also channeling with her business strategy work, which I think is a game changer. Just reach out at Kiana Scribe. So we'll put all the contacts in underneath. But just wanted to say thank you, everyone, for joining us again for episode 2. And we look forward to catching you next week. So with gratitude, we'll say see you later.
Okay.
Bye. That's it for this episode of The Quantum Thread.
If you have questions you'd like answered by the channel or topics you want us to explore, reach out anytime.
You can connect with Kaz for private channel sessions or with either of us for support on your journey.
Until next time, keep tuning in, trusting yourself, and following your inner thread.